So here we are going into Watford. We had quite a pleasant journey there, and we were very surprised to see the number of police. There were throngs of police right the way down the road, and the video doesn't really give you the impression of the numbers. They were in pairs or in groups the whole length of the road. Eventually we came to the entrance, and you can see that in the video, and after the entrance there was a throng of people who were waiting, queuing to go into the Bilderberg fringe, which was the designated area within the grounds of the Grove Hotel. So we parked the car on the infamous grass verge, the verge that all the residents had been complaining about in Watford. And this was a little girl and her mother, and they were protesting. So you can see how dangerous the protesters were. You see a bit more of the grass verge here, and eventually we got to what you could only see in Britain, and that is people actually queuing to protest.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going now.
From We Are Change. He's a very brave young man, and if you don't know him you should look at his videos on YouTube. He's famous for confronting the politicians, putting them on the spot and making them really squirm.
Careful about how you think. We could talk about how bad these guys are all day long, but you're feeding into that dark energy. We could call these guys elites. We could call these guys the top of the top. But in all reality, when you face them one-on-one and you look them in the eyes and you tell them, we know what's happening, they crumble, they blabber, they call security, they call the cops, and they run away. And the reason they do that is because they're real, pathetic human beings who don't have a soul.
So after he'd spoken, I saw that Luke Rudowski was behind the stand, and I thought maybe this is my opportunity to interview him. And I went over, and as chance would have it, I managed to speak to him. And before I go on to the interview, I'd just like to point out that one of the things I really like about the alternative media is the fact that there aren't really any prima donnas. They all seem to work together and cooperate.
It's my way of just being able to express myself and my concerns and to help people understand what's going on.
Luke, I'm a UK secondary school teacher, and I've got a group of youngsters who don't believe any of this. They think it's all conspiracy theories. If you had to sum up in a very short few sentences why they are probably wrong in their belief, because I think they are, could you do that for me?
That's a very hard task right now.
Well, what would you say to them? They're 17, 18 years of age.
Yeah.
Some of them are starting to wake up, but they really believe it's all conspiracy theories.
People are entitled to their opinion. They can believe what they want.
Yes, that's what I've told
But people
them.
should always understand that the mind works like a parachute. It only works when it's truly open. Don't believe any of the information that's being given to you. If you get a chance, if you get some free time, please take it to do your own independent research. Make up your own mind. Don't believe anybody. Believe yourself. The truth is within you.
Yes. Yes. So. Thank you very much, Luke.
These hard questions, damn.
And
now we come to today, and it's just the difference is staggering. And I think that difference is due entirely to the alternative media, because the mainstream media has found it incredibly difficult to talk about Bilderberg. It just hasn't had the intellectual ability to address it. And I think what's happened this year is finally the mainstream media has understood what it is. Oh.
That was Charlie Skelton of The Guardian, and Charlie Skelton has been the only mainstream journalist who has covered Bilderberg, and he's been covering it since 2009, I understand. But I do think he's wrong about this. I think he thinks and hopes that the mainstream media are starting to cover it, but I don't think they really did. On our drive home, we put the radio on, listening to BBC Two, and the news items were really quite incredible. There were 2 accidents reported, which would normally be things reported by local news, not national news, and the tennis, but no mention of Bilderberg. Alex Jones was interviewed by BBC, and Andrew Neil was the interviewer, but it was quite obvious that his intention was simply to discredit Alex Jones and to dub him as a conspiracy theorist. There was no serious debate at all, and it's just pathetic the way he behaved. He actually told Alex Jones to shut up. I really was disgusted by the interview, and I'm going to cancel my BBC licence fee.
Yeah, people are trying to get in from outside. There are more people wanting to come in, and what they're saying is the area is too small, and so health and safety, they can't come in. They're now stopping them getting in. I've seen people still queuing outside.
And the copper told me we'll have one person can leave and another person can come in, and one person can leave and another person can come in.
Thank you.
As you can see, they could have moved the barrier back, and that was what they originally promised to do, I think, to David Icke when he organised this, because the authorities thought there were only going to be about 300 people, but in the event thousands turned up. At 3:30 there were queues still right down the road, and after Alex Jones had spoken at 7 o'clock, because he spoke at 6, there were still queues down the road.
Holy crap, I'm actually sat on something that, you know, could potentially damage that organisation sat on top of the hill, and I'm hoping it does. If anyone sees a red dot on the side of my head, please let me know. So the exemption, information relating to the formulation or development of government policy. Sorry, I kind of went off track. If you've ever spoken to them, they say it is a talking shop. There's no policies formed, there's no decisions made. We're just talking. You guys have seen the security. I've seen this before in Spain. A lot of you are new to this, you know. I mean, if you guys want to see this, I have all 3 documents. I want you to. I'm gonna hope to catch Michael Meacher, give him some. I think this is a good bit of ammunition. The website is www.size13films, and the 13 is 13, .blogspot.com. The good stuff is in the second document on page 3. There are 2 other exemptions other than the one that they've admitted that they formulate and develop government policy in that building. Information is exempt information if its disclosure under this Act would or would likely to prejudice relations between the UK and any international organisation. And the other one, information is exempt if its disclosure under this Act would or would likely to prejudice the economic interests of the UK or any part of the United Kingdom.
To have 130 of the world's, or certainly the Western world's finance capitalist leaders meeting together in a situation of complete blackout and utter secrecy is an outrage to democracy. Democracy in our civilization is on the slide. It isn't the democracy that we knew 40, 50 years ago. It's very different. We've already had in the Eurozone 2 technocratic prime ministers replacing democratic prime ministers in Italy and Greece, and now we have the leaders, much more than the political leaders, the real leaders of Western finance capitalism. No agenda, no report on the proceedings, no communique, and no report to Parliament as far as I know, and that's why I have put down a request to the Speaker of the House of Commons that a statement be made by the Chancellor of the Exchequer or the Prime Minister, both of whom are attending this.
Unelected and untransparent they are. The reason why they're up there believing they have power over us is because we have handed over to them the power of our money supply.
I have put down a request to the Speaker of the House of Commons that a statement be made by the Chancellor of the Exchequer or the Prime Minister, both of whom are attending this capacity. They're attending in an official capacity, and on that basis they should report to Parliament. The point is, what is significant? Why do they want secrecy? That's the question that we need to ask. It is not just a cosy chat. You don't get people coming thousands of miles.
No, never.
Who are serious policy making, and in the state of current capitalism, they want to concert their plans, and it may be pretty brutal.
UN Security Council. We also have a de facto world army, and it's called NATO, which imposes the will of these people. Send the boys in. So we're seeing it unfold before our eyes, and still the mainstream media can't see it because it can only see dots and not pictures. And there's two techniques that are necessary to understand. Many people will be aware of these here, but I'll go through them for the mainstream media. Because that's the thing, you see. This is the thing. This is what the mainstream media do not understand in their bewilderment at what's happening, is vast numbers of people are now far more informed about the world than they are. This is the point. The first technique I gave the name to a long time ago now, problem, reaction, solution. Real simple. You want to change the world in a way that if you did it openly, there would be a massive response against it. So you don't do it openly. You first of all create a problem which you blame someone else for. 9/11 and all that stuff, a banking crash, a government crash. You blame it on someone or something else. You then, here we go again, through a unquestioning mainstream media, You pass on your version of that problem to the public, and you're looking at stage 2 for a reaction of fear, of anxiety, of do something, something must be done. And then you, who've covertly created that problem, then offer the solution to the problems you've created. And those solutions are changes in society that advance the agenda towards this structure I'm talking about, that would never have happened without the manipulated problem. There's even a version, Tony Blair's good at these. Tony Blair, yeah. If there's ever a half-truth in a Blair speech, it's the typing error, okay? But it's an add-on to that technique, an offshoot, which I call no-problem reaction solution. This is when you don't need a real problem to justify the solution, you just invent one. Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Dead simple. Don't need a problem. Invent it. And alongside problem reaction solution, its partner almost always hunts together. What I call the totalitarian tiptoe. Again, dead simple, and my goodness me, that brings us back to this organization here. You start at A, as they did, and you know you're going to Z. You know where the agenda's leading. But if you go there too quickly, the changes in society are such that people look up and go, what's going on? What's happening? And so you do it in steps, as big as you can get away with, but not so big that you alert too many people. We have a European Union centralized bureaucratic dictatorship thanks to the Bilderberg Group and its manipulation over decades. The Bilderberg Group was created in part by a man called Joseph Rettinger. It just so happens that Joseph Rettinger was one of the major instigators of the European Union. And he worked in creating the initial common market with a man called Jean Monnet, who is still today called the father of Europe, the father of the European project. I have a quote here from a letter by Monnet, one day after I was born, April the 30th, 1952, right at the start of the European project, orchestrated in so great a part through this. And this is what Monnet said in 1952. Europe's nations should be guided towards the superstate without their people understanding what is should be guided towards the superstate without their people understanding what is happening. Europe's nations should be guided towards the superstate without their people understanding what is happening. This can be accomplished by successive steps, each disguised as having an economic purpose. This can be accomplished by successive steps, each disguised as having an economic purpose, each disguised, but which will eventually and irreversibly lead to federation. This is not an accident. This is not, oh, we better have a Maastricht Treaty. Shall we have a Maastricht Treaty? It's all projected forward. Absolutely, desperately want. And that is divide and rule. They cannot do it without that. And look at it. We divided as a world on the fault lines, the manufactured fault lines of religion and culture and race and all the rest of it, and income bracket. And, you know, they're picking each section off while the other one looks the other way and says, it's not my problem. Well, a man said something like this after the Nazi years in Germany. First they came for the Jews and I was not a Jew, so I did nothing. Then they came for the communists. I was not a communist, so I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists. I was not a trade unionist, so I did nothing. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. That is what they're doing now.
Girl, you really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. So I can't sleep at night.
figured out that we're in deep trouble and that these dangerous parasites have ill will towards us. They want the world for themselves. They've stolen the governments, they've stolen the money, they've stolen the cultures, they've stolen almost everything, and now they want us out of the way so they can move forward into the future with all the technology that humankind developed. They take the ideas and the energy of you, the creative, and they use it against you. And I'm here to tell you how to stop them. Fight them with information. Fight them with truth. Fight them with art. And never give up and realize that we are. And realize that we are in a war. That they are attacking us. That they are attacking our families. That they are attacking our nations. That they are attacking our cultures. They want us absolutely neutralized so they can take over this planet. And I'm going to break that down today. They are watching now, and we are watching. And our message to the Bilderberg group and the global crime syndicate that they represent is that humanity is awake and staring and aware of your crimes, and nothing on earth is going to stop the judgment of justice that is coming down on you now. Just 4 years ago, the New York Times wrote that I was in Chantilly, Virginia, walking around in a hotel grounds like this, imagining Bilderberg. This is while there were helicopters, police, four-wheelers, Marines, Secret Service aiming MP5 submachine guns at us, and the New York Times thought the American people were such stupid scum that they told them it didn't exist. And by the way, the New York Times is a shadow of its former self, and so are all the other globalist organs, because the people know that they're being lied to, thanks to the truth tellers and the trailblazers that came before us. So we salute Jim Tucker, your work. I want to ask you a question. Do you take it personally that they're on record saying they want to reduce world population by at least 80%, and that many of these people have openly bragged that they're putting chemical and biological weapons in the food chain to kill us with horribly debilitating diseases? Do we take that personal? Then say it with me. I'm going to say it once, we're going to say it over and over again. I want them to hear it. I want you to direct it that way. We know you are killers. 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 And we know you are killers. Something about it. And looking up what we're saying. If you're a viewer out there on television, you're saying, what is he talking about? They're killing us. Look up my film. It's free online. Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. Made it 7 years ago. And it covers Bilderberg. And it's only the very tip of the iceberg. So that's some pretty hardcore information that I just put out. In fact, let me see that wireless camera. I'm going to shoot some video up here for everybody. Thanks a lot. Shout out once this crowd, and I'll get it done one way or the other. Thank you. Look at this. It's amazing. You got the globalists up there on the hill. Let's get the video over there. You too, Rich. Let's shoot it over there. Directing up here live. Look at this great crowd of incredible people. Incredible job. Absolutely amazing. What they're doing. It's amazing to be it's so amazing to be around people that have the light of liberty literally pumping in their veins. When you sit here and you look at what's happening historically, the reason I talk about it being such a big victory is that they've done everything they can to obscure the fact that there is a powerful world, centralized, illegal, fraudulent, globalist operation
that is violating every national and state law of any country you look at, whether it's lobbying or toxic waste dumping, and their crimes against humanity are just legion. And you think about, why haven't people gotten upset up until now? They have been, but there wasn't an alternative media to bring people together, to show other people out there that they're not alone. The system is there about, as David was saying, to project the idea that because you don't want to be a slave, or because you don't want corrupt globalists sucking off your tax money, that there's something wrong with you. The globalists are killing the entire planet. They are playing God. They are genetically engineering everything. They believe they're going to evolve and merge with machines. They believe we're ugly and bad because they're so wicked and ugly themselves. To them, beauty and honor and innocence is weak and ugly. They want to remake the world in their ugly image, and we're not going to let them do it. No! Everything that the power structure is dedicated to doing is to teaching you that you don't have any power. Everything that they're dedicated to doing is teaching you that you don't have any hope. But the truth is, if you admit that this globalist program is going on, if you admit that the New World Order operation is taking place, it is the end of these people. And that's all we've got to do. It's become so insanely transparent now in this society, ladies and gentlemen, that these people are destroying our world. And it is so amazing to be able to come here and meet and talk to all of you today, and to see the light of liberty and the light of humanity shining through your eyes. It humbles me at a level that I have just never experienced. They call this New World Order the final revolution, the great tyranny. They intend to destroy humanity itself, break up men and women, break up the family, take over the crops, re-engineer the world, so it's impossible for free man and free woman to live in this world. They come to destroy your free will. They come to destroy your future. So we're not talking about an individual death here. We're not talking about one person dying. I'm not worried about being killed, and I know David Icke's not worried either. We're here, no security, up here, climbing up on the stage, because we're just like you. I close with this. My great dream is that your children and my children and their great-great-grandchildren and the great-great-grandchildren of those children, because humanity has not even begun to flower, we'll be living together in peace and doing things that we can't even imagine today, not just on this planet, but throughout the stars. And that the globalists not be able to take control of humanity and turn it into some robotic plaything for themselves so they can play God. I am here to tell the New World Order, you are not God. If you had any idea of the mind of God, you would not be committing the blasphemy against God's creation that you've engaged in.
See, the dark night has come down on us. The world is living in its dream, but now we know that we can wake up from this sleep and set out on a journey. If you travel blindly, if you fall, the truth is there to set you free.